Initiating combat mode.
Go!
Destination confirmed.
Woo! That's what I'm talking about! Alright!
The game that stole the show at 2017 E3 has done it again, so of course I had to cover it for my first E3 2019 recap. What up gamers, I'm Sir Mav, and today we're going to be talking about Cyberpunk 2077. Now this is a game I've been following for quite a while now, but haven't yet spoke of on the channel. This game ultimately is everything I could ever want in an open world game. Full customization capabilities, futuristic sci-fi setting, punk aesthetic setting at that, and a story that you can play your way. Seems to be a common trend we see now in these games coming out. But I'm getting ahead of myself here. Let's get into all the details that we know of on Cyberpunk 2077. Now to do this game justice, we need to go back a year to E3 2018 where Cyberpunk 2077 stole the show without even showcasing the game to the public. Instead, a lucky few had a chance to see a snippet of exclusive gameplay that turned heads and got influencers and press alike hyped. Go forward a couple months later and on CD Projekt Red's Twitch, a cryptic stream started up and lasted what felt like a full 24 hours. But eventually what finally came was the same exclusive footage that was shown behind these closed doors at E3 2018. 48 minutes of full, non-stop raw gameplay. And I gotta tell you, even in alpha, it looks stellar. And as the details come pouring in, this game is looking to be Game of the Year for 2020. And I don't say this lightly as there is some major competition coming in 2020 for gaming. Very early in the year, I might add. So for those of you who may have missed it, let's go over what exactly Cyberpunk 2077 is. Cyberpunk 2077 is an open-world action-adventure RPG set in the massive metropolis known as Night City. The people here are obsessed with power, glamour, and occasional body modifications. You play a character known only as V. You're a mercenary outlaw in search of a one-of-a-kind implant that is the key to your immortality. Whether that's literal or figuratively, we have yet to know for sure. But what's great about V is that V is anyone you want them to be. Well, maybe not anyone, but the game will have full customization. Which is why during the gameplay release last year, V was female, and the gameplay we saw at E3 this year, V was male. So yes, you can choose V's sex, prioritize their backstory, and go in depth into their look by customizing hair, tattoos, and the clothing you wear. And man, do I want that jacket. Does anybody else want that jacket? You'll also start the game off with the ability to customize your character's initial stats from strength, constitution, intelligence, reflexes, tech, and another one called cool. Cool is likely an attribute that maps to your player's charisma in some way, shape, or form. No one is really sure on that one just yet. And as we saw in the demo last year, Cyberpunk 2077 is also a first-person shooter RPG. This will allow you as a player to be fully enveloped into the world and action Night City has to offer. And from what it looks like, there's a lot of action on the table here. Through some cutscenes and driving, there will be some third-person views, but ultimately this is a FPS game at heart. Oh, and if you want guns, there's lots of guns. Firefights can be chaotic and aggressive from what we saw in the gameplay from the demo footage last year. There's such weapons as a tech shotgun that could penetrate through cover and enemies, which can be a deadly combo when combined to an optic implant that allows you to see through walls or other objects. And we also saw what they called the smart rifle that takes all the skill out of shooting. Simply, you can just lock onto your target by facing them into the square and fire away as the bullets automatically track their intended target. But you don't only attack your enemies with guns. Nope, supposedly you have quite the variety of abilities at your disposal. And those abilities stem from what some would call classes as per the usual RPG elements. But since this isn't your typical RPG game, and given that you don't choose a class in the beginning of the game according to the demo, these are likely abilities through skill trees or augmentations at the Ripper Dock that the player can upgrade to fit their own playstyle. Oh, and also these augmentations within the world are known as cyberware. Given from what I gathered in the demo, expect to see many abilities that help to enhance hacking abilities, gunplay, and overall stealth if you so choose to. In the 48-minute walkthrough demo, you saw V opt for a Kiroshi optical implant that lets us zoom into objects, analyze the environment, and view enemy levels as well as detailed information about them. These abilities don't just apply to optics though. I'm sure you've seen the famous photos of the augmented mantis blades, which can be used for combat as we saw in the new gameplay at E3 and the previous walkthrough. But these mantis blades also allow you to wall run and attach yourself to walls, and other augments can provide you with double jump and even a dash ability. And wait for it, you can even slow down time as you shoot baddies Max Payne style. Needless to say, we can expect a lot from this dystopian world of Cyberpunk 2077. But if you want to watch the full demo for yourself, I've left a link of the full 48-minute walkthrough in the description box below, so definitely go check that out if you haven't seen it. Oh, and I should also mention this is a CD Projekt Red game. You know, the creators of Witcher 3, Game of the Year. So expect for them not to hold back. This is a mature game. Expect gore, guts, and glory. And for those of you who are curious, yes, after all, this is an RPG game, you can romance the other NPCs. Whether you can romance core NPCs or not, such as Keanu Reeves' character Johnny Silverhand, well, you'll just have to wait and see. And yes, that was the correct name drop. Mr. John Wick himself takes off the shades in the new trailer and came popping out of the smoke at E3 during the Microsoft Xbox show. So if you're wondering who his character Johnny Silverhand is, he's apparently a well-known character from the original 1988 Cyberpunk title. Most of the lore known about him is simply he's a rocker boy that sports an iconic cybernetic arm, which held true with the new trailer we saw revealed at E3. But imagine we can expect to see more of him as soon as the game releases on April 16th, 2020. That's less than a year from now, when we could be jumping into a full-on dialogue with NPCs and exploring a vast open world. We still don't know how big this world is just yet, but the team stated at the beginning of the demo that they are working hard to create a seamless, non-constricting open world for you to interact with. Meaning no loading screens, which is just the cherry on top to the full-on immersion gameplay we can expect from Cyberpunk 2077. If that wasn't enough, it was also revealed within a freeze frame shot of the E3 2018 trailer that there will be no microtransactions and all DRM content will be free on PC. As we get closer to launch, I'm sure we will learn more on all the details within the game. Also remember that this title will be launching on all platforms, and for those of you on PC, you can purchase the game through Steam and the Epic Store launchers. But I for one am stoked on what this game could be. A fully immersive dystopian world, no loading screens, live the life of V and have the freedom to go through the story with your own character, augmentations and interactions, and a ripple effect of changes through the world just on your own decisions. With the way it's looking, this ultimately means that everyone's playthrough and interactions within the world will be different from one another. You play who you want to play and you be who you want to be. In any case, you can bet your ass I'll be jumping in come the release of this game in April 2020. And CD Projekt Red crew, if you're listening, help me get my hands on that jacket. It's just so sick and I have to have it. But with that guys, if you want to see more on Cyberpunk 2077 in the future, hit that like button and tap fire subscribe for more on gaming. There's more game recaps to come through the week, so keep it locked here for more intel on the upcoming open world and shooter titles from E3 2019. But until next time gamers, this is Sir Mav, signing off.